All right. Welcome in. It is A to Z Sports Prime Time here on a Tuesday evening. I am Sam Phelan in for Buck Rising here on Tuesday nights, getting ready for a very good show as all of you guys file in here. Shout out to my guy Lou. Lou Man getting in here first, getting in the chat, ready to roll, and I am ready to roll on a Tuesday because the Tennessee Titans are closing in on hiring a new general manager here on January 14th. That's right. We've got the latest updates from the Tennessee Titans GM search. We've got a list of finalists. We're going to try and predict who it's going to be for the Titans and estimate when we think the hire is going to go down. The replacement for Ran Carthon going to happen sooner rather than later. We'll try and give you the latest and make predictions. Then got some wild stuff going on in the NFL coaching carousel. Deion Sanders, Mike Vrabel. I haven't gotten to speak on much of it yet, so I'll have my takes and curious to hear from all of you as we get into all of that. So let's go ahead. Let's do it officially. Before we jump in, share the show. Make sure if you're watching on Facebook this evening, hit the share button in the bottom right corner. If you're watching on YouTube, take that YouTube link, get the word out there. A to Z Sports Primetime is live with me, and that we are talking the latest Titans GM updates that you are going to want to hear and have to take home with you so that you can share the knowledge to the Titans fan in your life. Welcome in A to Z Sports Primetime, not in the Zen Sports Studios tonight. I'm not Buck Rising, but I am Sam Phelan here with you on Tuesday nights for Primetime, and I am presented to you, as always, by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet, or online at tworiversford.com for more information. Zen Sports, that is your place to bet. The NFL playoffs are getting good here with the divisional round. We've got some college football national title odds out there. So go to Zen Sports. That's your place to bet, and use the promo code ATOZTN in the Zen Sports app. If you're in need of a new workout program, TrueMav Fitness is the place for you. No workout is ever recycled or repeated at TrueMav. So go to TrueMavFitness.com for more information. And Bart Durham Injury Lawyers, your big truck wreck or fight for justice, a crash can change your life forever. And Bart Durham is here to help. All right, let's get into this here. I've got the latest as I, make sure here that my laptop's not going to die in the middle of the show. Is it? There we go. Got a technical difficulties. We don't want to have any emergencies like I've had on the morning show for the last couple of weeks here. I've got the latest. Welcome in. We are talking about Titans general manager finalists, when the hire is officially going to happen. And I'm going to give you a prediction right now here tonight, my official prediction of who the Titans' next GM is going to be. First things first, let's get into who these finalists are. So this from A to Z Sports is Easton Freeze. This is, of course, per reports from Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero, the 6 finalists for the Titans general manager job. Chiefs assistant general manager Mike Borgonzi, Buccaneers assistant general manager John Spytek, that is a typo from our guy Easton. Bears assistant GM Ian Cunningham, Colts assistant GM Ed Dodds, Bills director of player personnel Terrance Gray, and Packers vice president of player personnel John Eric Sullivan. Now, interviews happened over the weekend. The Titans did a round of virtual online interviews. They have since started the process of requesting and now conducting in-person round 2 of interviews with the candidates. I know Ed Dodds of Indianapolis went ahead and he had his interview today. Here is an update as well from Jonathan Jones over at CBS Sports that I saw. Let me make sure I pull it up. He says Titans will interview their 6 GM candidates in person this week, 2 going on each day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So 2 of them have already been done. It is possible the Titans name a new GM by the weekend. This is going to move fast. I think by Saturday afternoon, we will have a hire. That's why I'm talking about it today. That's why I have to give you my official prediction on Primetime tonight. I think by the next time I talk to you guys on A to Z Primetime here, the Titans will have hired a GM, and it will probably be a reaction to the GM. So once again, here are your finalists. Chiefs assistant general manager Mike Borgonzi, Buccaneers assistant general manager John Spytek, Ian Cunningham assistant GM with the Bears, Ed Dodds assistant GM with the Colts, Bills director of player personnel Terrance Gray, and Packers VP of player personnel John Eric Sullivan. I'm going to have all of you guys looking at that list and let me know. First question of the evening. Let's get those predictions in. Who do you predict will be the next Tennessee Titans general manager? Of these 6, these are the finalists. Who's getting the job? Who is getting the job? While you guys sound off in the chat, let me know who you're picking, who you're backing. I'm going to tell you about somebody that's always backing you. And that's Two Rivers Ford. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer, and they're the place to go to get to know the Ford Bronco. There are so many options, color combinations, and different packages when it comes to the Bronco. And that's why the Two Rivers Ford team is inviting you to get to know the Bronco. It's an open invite. You don't need to be in the market for a vehicle. This has a team of Bronco experts at Two Rivers Ford on hand to introduce you to the Bronco, answer questions, let you test drive, show you on and off-road capabilities, technology, accessories. And this team is not working on commission. They're just there to educate you, to answer questions, introduce you to a really cool vehicle. This is one of many reasons why people love doing business with Two Rivers Ford. This is why they're the South's most trusted Ford dealers. So go see my friends at Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet, 7 miles east of the airport, and get to know the Bronco. Two Rivers Ford is your Ford Bronco headquarters. All right. I asked you guys, based on this list of finalists, Borgonzi, Spytek, Cunningham, Dodds, Gray, Sullivan, who you got? Who you picking to be the Titans' next GM? Go into the chat. Terrance Gray is what Trey's going with. I see Borgonzi from Sean, John Eric Sullivan from Ryan Ward, the dude from Green Bay. I think this is supposed to be from Chris. Yeah, so that's John Eric Sullivan from Trey, Borgonzi, Terrance Gray, Spytek, Terrance Gray, Borgonzi, Gray, John Eric Sullivan, Borgonzi, Sullivan, Borgonzi. Not seeing a ton of love for 3 candidates on here. So nobody really on Cunningham, nobody on Dodds, nobody on Spytek. I'll just go one at a time here. Mike Borgonzi, I think, would be a great hire. I think it would be a very good get for the Titans. I get the feeling that Borgonzi is going to probably take the Jets job. He seems to be the leading candidate with the Jets. I think he wants the ability to choose his head coach. Matt Nagy has already interviewed with the New York Jets. He's the Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator. Don't be surprised if it's a Borgonzi-Nagy situation going to New York. I also get the feeling Mike Borgonzi and Ian Cunningham, I'll loop them together, and I've been pretty vocal about this. I'm not sure there's going to be a ton of interest from those 2 candidates. Obviously interest, but I think them actually taking the job, if they have their pick of the litter between Vegas, New York, and Tennessee, I think Tennessee's probably last as far as what is attractive for a GM right now. These guys who are assistant GMs that are very highly thought of, that seem to be the next in line for GM opportunities. Why would you take your one shot at being an NFL GM with an organization that has proven to be dysfunctional, that has made a habit of firing front office personnel, that doesn't give you full control of the roster? Chad Brinker is going to have final say of all personnel decisions for the Titans. He's going to be the guy. You're answering to somebody else. So if you're a guy who spent a lot of time in an office job as an assistant GM, has gained that in-office experience, is really looking to go to an organization and build it in your image, the Titans are not for you right now. And I think Cunningham and Borgonzi both fall into that bucket of guys who probably don't favor the Titans job over other jobs. Now, I think that could be different for some of the other guys on this list. Spytek, I think, is another really popular candidate in Vegas. It will be interesting to see where he goes. Ed Dodds, I don't see happening. I know he's brought back for a second interview. There's something to me that I don't know, a 7-year assistant GM of a division rival. He's never won an AFC South as an assistant GM. Like, he's worked under Chris Ballard with a regime that, frankly, has not been all that successful. I think the Titans are going to go for a younger executive that currently has a very hands-on role in the scouting process for a successful organization. And that brings me to the bottom two names. Bills Director of Player Personnel, Terrance Gray, and I've prepared a video just in case you don't know enough about Gray. He is super active in the scouting process over in Buffalo, and here's a little behind-the-scenes video of what he does this time of year, getting ready for the NFL Draft.
It is 6:21 a.m., and we are beating the traffic, heading into LA, going to USC's Pro Day. Be a big one today. You really want to see how this class competes as a whole. This team in particular has multiple positions where guys will get drafted day 1, day 2, and day 3. And so, Caleb Williams will be the highlight of this pro day, not only being quarterback, but just the caliber of talent that he is. And again, just going back to what this quarterback draft class will mean for a handful of clubs. But there's still some other good players on this roster. This is really the last time you'll see these guys compete until they're drafted. So, yeah, I just want to see these guys come out here, have a good day, compete, do well, and also, how they interact with their teammates. How are their teammates interacting when they do something well? Those are all, just little observations that you can take in and, kind of add to the other sets of information that you have.
How you doing, Coach? Terrance Gray, Buffalo.
Carousel.
Nice to meet you. Are you coach here?
Team chaplain, work with players, development.
Awesome. Stuff they need in their life?
Coach off the field.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am excited to see Caleb. I'll say that. He made us wait, and he's got the build-up and anticipation. I would imagine he has a script. Most of those guys do. Oh, no, I think he's going to do great. I think he's going to light it up. Hey, how you doing? Terrance Gray.
How's it going, Terrance?
Good to see you. Same here, yeah. Big day?
Yeah.
Yeah. Buffalo.
All right.
Yeah. Go Bills, yes, sir. Smooth, man. Coming at us. Nice catch. What stands out to you about him?
Character-wise, like, that's someone you know is going to every day.
I say we're big on culture in Buffalo, so you like culture ads. I am going to, we got a private workout. Can't give the location because you're in the division now. It'll be in the continental U.S., and that's all I'm going to tell you, Elliot.
All right, so there you go. There's the 6 finalists again, but that was a little behind-the-scenes look at Terrance Gray, getting the work done, boots on the ground for the Buffalo Bills at USC Pro Day last year, about, almost 12 months ago to date, but getting ready for the pre-draft process. A little bit more about Terrance Gray. Started with the Kansas City Chiefs, spent 11 seasons doing college scouting for the Minnesota Vikings. Now, even with the Bills, very active, boots on the ground worker. Got GM interviews last year with Vegas and the Chargers, and a lot of people in the industry have called him, to me, a no-brainer, quote, no-brainer for Terrance Gray being a GM. So I think, given the untraditional nature of the Titans job, them looking like they want to go and get a guy who is all football all the time, scouting heavy. You saw Gray not just traveling from Buffalo, by the way, to USC to go scout, but also going to various schools throughout the spring. He is no stranger, even now, to this boots on the ground sort of approach. He is very active in the Bills draft process, an organization that's had a ton of success. I think this is my favorite candidate on the board. I think this is my top choice. If I was picking right now, I'm all aboard Terrance Gray. But is that who the Titans are going to hire? I think it's probably John Eric Sullivan. I think if I'm placing a bet right now, so if we're going off of my list, Terrance Gray is my number one choice. John Eric Sullivan, I think, is the more likely choice. He is the vice president of player personnel for the Green Bay Packers, and an easy line to draw because he spent about 14 years exactly, with Chad Brinker in the Packers front office. Brinker climbed the ranks of the Packers organization from 2009 to 2022 when the Titans hired him away. Sullivan was in Green Bay in 2008. He predated Chad Brinker in Green Bay. He was a regional scout for the Packers for 7 years, was later promoted to director of college scouting. That was in 2016, then became the co-director of player personnel. He did that for 4 years. And then since 2022, he's been serving as the vice president of player personnel. He's got some interest from other teams around the league, but I do think his connection with Brinker could be something that draws him to Tennessee and makes this. And honestly, there is a benefit of that too. As much as you would like to say like, hey, don't do the buddy hire type of thing. Don't just hire a guy because you know him. There is absolutely something to be said about a general manager and a president of football operations working in unison with this organization. That is something that we very much have been wanting with the Titans. Like, we didn't get it when you had Mike Vrabel and Ran Carthon sort of butting heads. It happened a little bit more this past year with Callahan and Ran Carthon being generally on the same page, but there's still kind of this consensus that Chad Brinker was really the person calling the shots, and there was sort of a power struggle going on. And if Brinker brings in somebody that he's familiar with, that sees, the world and the league and scouting and evaluation the same way that he does, they communicate well, they have a good relationship, I think that is a pretty positive thing for Tennessee. He's got that scouting background, that diligent scouting background, over a decade in scouting and personnel experience with another organization, Green Bay, that has consistently found a way to have success and be a winning team. So that's my answer. Most likely, John Eric Sullivan. My top choice, I'd really like to see Terrance Gray be the pick, and I think we will know by this weekend. All right, let's move it on. Let's get to NFL coaching tree. There's been a couple of moves and shakes in the NFL carousel. The most recent one, Mike McCarthy out as Dallas Cowboys head coach, which then begs the question, what exactly is Dallas going to do at head coach? Because, you miss the window if you are Jerry Jones and the Cowboys to interview virtually some of the candidates who were on bye in the first round of the NFL playoffs. That means a Ben Johnson on bye. Mike Vrabel was a name that was very much brought up for the Cowboys position. He took a job before Jerry Jones even decided to move on from Mike McCarthy. You're starting to miss the boat, and I don't know how attractive that job is. I'm sure, the money will talk in Dallas for sure. But I don't necessarily see Ben Johnson and some of these top coaching candidates being all in to go to Dallas. But, Jerry's going to want to go big. And then the bomb dropped. Adam Schefter came out with the report. We saw it that Deion Sanders, father of Shedeur Sanders, head coach at University of Colorado, primetime Dallas Cowboys legend, had been contacted, and that the Cowboys had very serious interest in Deion Sanders. This was a quote from Deion Sanders talking about Jerry Jones. But instead of me telling you about it, we will, in due time, hear from Adam Schefter himself about, all that. I don't know whether or not this is realistic, whether or not this is going to happen. The latest report on the Deion Sanders situation. And before we get to that, I'm going to tell you all about the official realtor of the Nashville Predators. It's my guy, Gary Ashton, over at GaryAshton.com. Don't sell without the intel. Get your dream address without the stress and the intel that you need to succeed with the official realtor of the Nashville Predators, GaryAshton.com. You see the info down there. So go hit up Gary. All right, here you go. I don't really have a ton to say until we watch this video, but Adam Schefter on the Pat McAfee Show talking primetime to Dallas once again.
How real is this? And what are we thinking the chances of Coach Prime having a star on his hat actually are?
Well, a few things here. First of all, last night I spoke to Prime in the second half of the game. He called me after his dinner, and I put out basically one of the things they said. And you texted me like, what does this mean? There's the statement, right? To hear from Jerry Jones is truly delightful, and it's intriguing. I love Jerry and believe in Jerry. After you hang up and process it and think about it, it's intriguing. But I love Boulder, and everything there is about our team, the coaches, our student body, and the community. And you texted me, said, what does that mean?
Exactly.
I can tell you this. Having spoken to him, the way that I took it was he was not interested in going to the NFL. He was not thinking or planning to go to the NFL. It may not even happen that he goes to the NFL. But because he loves and respects Jerry Jones so much, when Jerry calls, of course, he's going to talk to him. And he was intrigued, to use his word, intrigued to speak to Jerry Jones. He heaped all kinds of praise on Colorado. He's been talking to the athletic director there. I'm sure I could say this in the back of my mind. Probably there's money involved. I don't think that's a ridiculous notion when it comes to Prime, who's been an incredible businessman throughout his entire career. But I said to him at the end of the conversation, Pat, I said, so what's next? What happens now? And he said to me, I don't know. I said, you don't know what happens next? Are you going to? I don't know. So I think right now, everything is in the beginning stages. There's no meeting plan with Jerry right now, but clearly the lines of communication are open. They're going to be in touch. And I think it goes for both sides. Deion Sanders is figuring out what's best for him. Is it best to stay in school? His sons are leaving. He's got recruits coming in. Does he want to be there? Does the school look out for him? Does he want to go to Dallas? Does Jerry want to go move in that direction to hire him?
So there is Adam Schefter on the Pat McAfee Show. Very simple, asking you guys our second question of the evening here. Buy or sell? Deion Sanders will be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Deion Sanders will be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. A lot of interesting stuff there. Deion, somebody who not really interested in taking a job in the National Football League, kind of makes an exception when Jerry Jones calls him because it's Jerry Jones and it's the Dallas Cowboys. Has a little bit less incentive to stay at Colorado with Shedeur going to, the NFL, declaring for the draft, going to go at the top of the first round. Shiloh Sanders as well has declared for the NFL draft. We'll see what, ends up happening with him if he ends up getting drafted. But both his sons leaving Colorado. Travis Hunter, somebody who he took in and has been very close to Deion and his time as a coach in college, also leaving. So maybe a good time to make the leap. And the Cowboys are calling. I'm sure Jerry Jones would pay very handsomely for primetime to come back to Dallas. Buy or sell, Deion Sanders will be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Lou is selling from Eric, Karen, Brandon. We got a lot of people selling. Huge sell. That's all smoke. We got a sell from Jacqueline. Ryan is buying. Darren is buying. Jay is buying. Bert, you can hop in here too if this is crazy. I'm buying. I think Deion Sanders is going to be the next head coach in Dallas. I don't know why. Call it a hunch. Call it, I did the show the last time I was here on primetime. I was making the prediction that Bill Belichick would go to UNC. That felt far-fetched at the time as well. I don't think Jerry Jones goes from a proven, established head coach like Mike McCarthy, who, by the way, I was doing the math earlier, the blind resume earlier, and Mike McCarthy, a much better coach than he gets credit for, goes 7-10 in a year that he's playing with Cooper Rush for more than half the year, and he's out. I don't think Jerry Jones is going to go from Mike McCarthy and go small. I don't think he's hiring a Joe Brady or a Matt Nagy or a Liam Cohen or one of those guys who are contenders to get a job. But this is the Dallas Cowboys that we're talking about. This is an organization that goes big. Mike Vrabel would have been big. Ben Johnson would have been big. I don't anticipate Ben Johnson going there, though. I think Ben Johnson is between Vegas and Chicago. I feel like there could be a little bit more fire here than meets the eye. MB says Jerry just plays the media like a cheap violin. True, but Jerry Jones also loves having the attention on him. Jerry Jones loves having people talking about the Cowboys. He loves box office, marquee stuff. There's nothing more marquee than Deion Sanders becoming the head coach. Kyle thinks Kellen Moore will take the job. I think Kellen Moore is a good fit to stay as, he's been there before, but is Jerry going to go and bring back Kellen Moore? Kellen Moore, who was with Dallas, goes to the rival Philadelphia Eagles. That I don't see that fit necessarily happening. I could see Pete Carroll. I think if it would make sense for a guy like Pete Carroll, if he wants to get back in coaching, to jump back in. You've got a Super Bowl winning head coach. It's a pretty similar hire to what he did with Mike McCarthy the first time around, where you get a guy who's a former Super Bowl winner that you can sell to yourself. But if you're a Cowboys fan, and not that Jerry is going to do everything that'll make Cowboys fans feel good, but if you were a Cowboys fan, are you feeling better with Pete Carroll as your head coach than you did with Mike McCarthy as your head coach? I don't.
Sorry, I was putting some stuff up. It kind of feels like they are just going to exchange the greatest hits of the 2000s. Like if Bill Belichick was available in this coaching cycle, would Jerry sell his soul to get an interview with him?
Oh, totally. Like, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that he's trying to poach Bill from UNC still. I think, like Cliff Kingsbury. Maybe I could see a world, but again, I think Jerry wants to go big. I think Vrabel was the lock to replace McCarthy, and he didn't jump soon enough with the opportunity, plus New England coming available kind of pushed Vrabel that direction. I don't think he's going Ben Johnson. The other candidates are just unproven rookie head coaches that don't have any experience, that are that is not what Jerry Jones does. He doesn't take a chance on that young, fresh name. This won't happen, but it would be a John Gruden type of thing. He would go get John Gruden. Doug Peterson, I might agree with if Doug Peterson didn't just have the worst season ever. I don't think Doug Peterson maybe gets another job in the future, but I don't think the Dallas Cowboys are paying big bucks for Doug Peterson right now after he won 4 games with the Jaguars.
That's a good point. For me, I think the reason it's so tough to pinpoint this is because similar to the Titans, there's not a clear direction that the Cowboys are heading. They're kind of in this purgatory state where it's like our roster is good enough to compete in a weak NFC, but not good enough to punch through, especially not depth-wise. If there's injuries, which you saw this last year, it just doesn't seem like there's a definite, this is what the Dallas Cowboys are good at. It was running the ball, And then Ezekiel got older. Their offensive line got older. Then it was passing the ball to CeeDee Lamb, throwing the ball at the seams. Like, well, then Dak can't stay healthy. And then CeeDee's upset that he can't get the ball as much as he would like. There's just no definite answer of what are the Cowboys? What is their game? Is it that they can pin their ears back and get a great pass rush because Micah Parsons gets washed out of the most important games? Is it that they have an incredible secondary because Trayvon Diggs gets a lot of interceptions? Or is it that he gets burned a lot and also gives up a lot of yards? They're so wishy-washy. There's no definite that you can hang your hat on with the Cowboys. And I like that you pointed out that Jerry only goes big because in the last 2 head coaches he's hired, Jason Garrett, Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy was the big former Super Bowl winning coach. He's going to be the one to fix this. Jason Garrett was the homegrown guy. I know he wasn't necessarily a Cowboys player, but was an offensive coordinator, interim head coach, worked his way up through the ranks. And I think now Jerry's like, what the hell do I do? Neither one of these things worked. I tried to go the initial route of growing my head coach from a former player, someone who could talk to these people. That didn't work. We went 8-8 every year. Okay, I'm going to go get Mike McCarthy, who won a bunch of Super Bowls. That is also not panned out, and everyone called me stupid for wanting to sign him again. Jerry's like, I don't know what the hell I need to do to either gain respect or gain wins, but neither one of them are working.
I think Jerry, I think you can go and look at some of these teams that have really benefited from going big at head coach. I think more often than not in recent history, I think this kind of hire has worked out in the sense of like, Jim Harbaugh jumps to the Chargers, immediate success. Sean Payton was sort of an out of the box thing where the Broncos were, trading a lot over to New Orleans just to get him in. And he has flipped that culture around in a hurry and really seems to have worked out. One of the examples of a big fail was, the Jags going big with Urban Meyer. Huge failure. But I do feel like these sort of out of the box, big hirings have been successful. And one thing about Deion Sanders that, I've been told by people who have worked with Deion, who have covered Deion, who have experienced a lot of Deion, and even some of them who don't like Deion all that much say he's going to be good at whatever he does. Like it might not immediately go, but you give Deion Sanders 3 years, there's going to be direction. That is one thing that, like, Robert, you say this team is kind of like, they've got Micah Parsons, but what good is he doing on this defense when they've got all these other missing pieces? And are you building around Dak, or do you need to restructure entirely? The one thing Deion would bring is a very clear identity, a very clear culture. I can't really give you another good reason for why it's going to happen other than just saying, I don't know what else they're going to do. And I could see it. I just can envision it in my brain happening.
I get that. So while we're on the conversation of Deion to the Cowboys, which would also mean that the Cowboys would be forced to trade to number 1 to get Shedeur. I want to go ahead and nip this in the bud as quickly as possible because I've seen so many people already say this. Dak Prescott and X number of picks for the first round pick. This makes zero sense to me. If you are trading for the number 1 overall pick, that means you're coming up for a quarterback. You instantly lost all leverage of the mystery of, we might keep Dak. We might need Dak. Everyone's like, we're going to need 12, your second, a future first, and Dak. And adding Dak like that means shit in the pile. The thing is, Dak is a $60 million quarterback. He is going to be 32 the time the season kicks off. The Tennessee would be doing you a favor to take him off your books. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, just throw Dak in the trade. Hell no. We don't want Dak. We want another pick. We want 3 first-round picks. We'll find some shitty quarterback to play this year. We don't want 32-year-old Dak. So
I tell you who the centerpiece that you go and get is. You go get Micah Parsons in the trade. You get 11. I think that's when Dallas is picking, right? 11?
12, I believe.
12. So you go, we want 12. We want next year's 1. We want next year's 3rd. We want Micah Parsons. We'll give you a 1 and a 5 next year. Something like that. So you're getting 1 first, a 3rd, and Micah Parsons to go back 10 spots. And that can be an immediate I don't know what you do at quarterback in that situation. I haven't fully thought this plan out. I don't even know if I want the Titans to do it. But I think if you are looking at how do the Cowboys go from 12-1 to go and get Shedeur if Deion is the head coach there? You're looking at Micah Parsons there's been rumors that they're going to trade Micah Parsons regardless. His contract, let me look at his contract real quick, figure out what we're looking at.
It should be coming to the end of his rookie deal. It's just
about
time to pay
they
him.
exercised the club option for 2025, so he'll be getting $24 million with that fifth-year option exercised in 2025. It's all base salary, but it's time for that extension. So that's what that looks like, is a trade where you go back, you add a bunch of picks, you also add the elite edge rusher talent, and that's also one of my concerns that would help nip some of my concerns in the bud a little bit about the Titans trading back. One of the big issues that I have is I think a lot of the elite talent in this draft is going to go in the top 5. And if you're looking at the position groups that are likely to go in that like 6 to 12 range, there's some talent there, but none of them are at essential positions for what the Titans need. It's a lot of interior defensive line, a lot of good cornerbacks at the top of this draft. There's some edge rushers kind of take a dip after Abdul Carter. There are some decent ones, but how do you revive that defense? Hey, take Mykel Williams at 12, get Micah Parsons in the trade, bada bing, bada boom. You cut Harold Landry, you clean that money out, and you might come out net even with Micah Parsons versus what you would have been paying Harold Landry. And all of a sudden, you've got 2 really dangerous edge rushers. We just walked through a whole potential offseason scenario, but this is kind of what you're talking about. If the Titans fans out there, all you Titans fans, you should be praying to the heavens Deion Sanders gets a head coaching job. If Deion Sanders gets a head coaching job, the value of that number 1 overall pick goes up exponentially, infinite value now, because not only do you have what is typically the most valuable asset you can have as an organization, the number 1 pick in the draft, you have the father of the kid who might go first overall, potentially taking a job with an organization that needs a quarterback. That's what you're looking at here.
And we're getting a little bit of pushback because Darren says, doesn't matter, Sam, if we don't have a quarterback. And that's what the picks are for. Those picks that they're giving us.
I partially agree, Darren. I haven't thought it all the way through yet to know what I think. That this is my fear, Robert. I've talked about this a little bit. I know a lot of people are in that trade back, wait till 2026 to take the quarterback thing. I don't think you're in a spot to pick first overall all that often. It doesn't happen that you are in the position. So while we might look ahead at the 2026 draft class and say, wow, look at how many great guys are in this draft, it doesn't matter if you win 6-7 games and you're not in a spot to go and get the guy. At some point, you have to take the shot to go get your guy. And right now, when you have the first overall pick, there's something attractive about being there, taking that guy right now. I don't know where I fall in it. I'm just saying these are extra possibilities. And the number 1 thing you want if you're a team in the Titans position right now are options. I'm going to give you 2 options as well. Everybody in the chat, I'm going to kick you out of here. You can come back in a little bit, Robert,
you're good.
Got to kick you out and tell everybody. Let's see where we're at here. That's where we are. We're talking about TrueMav Fitness in the Gulch. Go to TrueMavFitness.com for your first workout free. As a Middle Tennessee resident, no workout is ever recycled or repeated at TrueMav. They got personal training, group fitness classes, and memberships that also offer an open gym. And along with TrueMav, I'm going to tell you about our new friends here at A to Z Sports, Bart Durham Injury Lawyers. Bart Durham Injury Lawyers, your big truck wreck or fight for justice. A crash can change your life forever. And Bart Durham is here to help, and only a phone call away. You can reach them 24/7 to get legal questions answered. 615-242-9000. Because guess what? Just like, actually, I would say you're not like Sam Darnold. You are not like Sam Darnold. You deserve to get paid. Sam Darnold just proved he doesn't deserve to get paid. You deserve to get paid. Attorneys are available to meet with you wherever is most convenient, including virtual. So visit the website bartdurham.com for current news, blogs, to contact and live chat with Bart Durham injury lawyers. All right, Robert, if you want to pop back in here, I've got another take to fire off. I know you've already watched this video, but I'm going to play it for the people at home. A little Mike Vrabel love before I pose a question and give a thought that might be a bit of a hot take.
And then so hopefully, I can go back and coach and teach the same things that I learned and hopefully, kind of steer them in the right way.
That is the perfect fit of what New England's probably looking for.
And he's a member of the team's Hall of Fame. It just makes too much sense for him not to be the Patriots coach.
Because he is proven. He had the #1 seed and made an AFC championship game different years.
He's on that very short list of coaches who have had success in the NFL. Obviously, Mike's a very bright guy, knows the rules better than anybody else.
First off, he's just a high-quality human being. Smart, intelligent, charismatic. Mike was really good at a lot of things. He was one of the most complete all-around football players I've ever played with.
I want to thank the fans that made coming and playing in this stadium unbelievably special. When we traveled, you were there. When we were here, you were there. And when you threw the snow, and every memory that comes back right now. So I want to thank you, fans, okay, for the opportunity to stand here today in front of you. But I also want you not to take this organization for granted. I've been a lot of places. This is a special place with great leadership, great fans, great direction.
Ability to stand in front of a room and take over. That's what you're getting with Vrabel. He's a guy who combines credibility with the chops, catching touchdowns in the Super Bowl.
First and goal at the Eagle 2. Double setback. Back to throw. Brady fires. End zone. Caught. Touchdown. It's Vrabel. Mike Vrabel. All right.
And Warner goes back to throw. And here's the blitz by Mike Vrabel. The pass is intercepted. Picked up by Tyrone. Drops back to throw. Here comes the pressure. Hit. Ball on the ground. Let's see who has it. Patriots recover at the Carolina 19. Fires. Touchdown. Touchdown in the end zone to Mike Vrabel. Tom Brady, 1.5 yards to Mike Vrabel. Patriots take the lead.
Enjoy it. It's not like this everywhere. Thank you very much.
Had to sling it in there at the end.
I mean, insane chills, incredible video. Good for Patriots fans. I mean, actually, no, screw them. Like, why am I saying good for Patriots fans? Like, they haven't had it good enough. But like, how are you not running through a brick wall if you're watching that video and you're a Pats fan right now? I mean, good hire in general, good hire. And I've got a hot take to fire off. I'll just say it, and then you guys let me know if you agree or disagree in the chat. Robert, I'll start with you if you agree or disagree. I'm going to say right now, Mike Vrabel will have more success with the Patriots than he did with the Titans. Mike Vrabel will have more success with the Patriots than he did with the Titans. I think he ends up appearing in a Super Bowl at least. At least Mike Vrabel is going to coach in a Super Bowl with the New England Patriots. I think this culture fit is absolutely right. This is the guy that can really reinforce the Patriot way. The good news for Vrabel is that, he's walking into a situation where he has that really promising young quarterback already in place. I think Robert Kraft is going to be patient with him, really let him call the shots and do things his way. He's already able to bring in guys like Ryan Cowden. I'm a Mike Vrabel believer. I was in Tennessee. I think the last few years, have started to prove Mike Vrabel more and more right the farther removed we get from his tenure as Titans head coach. And, probably a bigger reason for the Titans' success for that little 4-year run than maybe he even gets credit for. So do you in the chat and do you, Robert, believe Mike Vrabel will be more or less successful with the Patriots than he was with the Titans?
I got to disagree. I think the AFC is a different landscape where before there was a superpower when he was with, he kind of ended that superpower with the Patriots. And now the AFC is a minefield where every division has a superstar caliber quarterback and team. And there's already someone ahead of him in that division in Josh Allen and the Bills. So I don't necessarily say he won't be successful, But I think it's going to be a steep uphill climb, and I'm definitely taking the path that is more traveled here. You're the one going out on the limb, but like it would be difficult for me to see him getting through a Joe Burrow, a Lamar Jackson, a Josh Allen, a Patrick Mahomes, the other rising people. Now he has a Drake May who could assumably become one of those quarterbacks.
That's the key to it, right? Is you need your Drake May to ascend. That has seemed to be the recipe in the AFC. The NFC has been able to get a little bit muddy. While the 49ers have had a ton of success, they've done it with Brock Purdy and Jimmy Garoppolo, and we've seen Matthew Stafford go to a Super Bowl. We've seen even going back a little bit more, like Jared Goff go to a Super Bowl, Nick Foles win a Super Bowl. The possibilities, Jared Goff could go to a Super Bowl this year for all we know. Like Jalen Hurts is not, on another level of NFL quarterbacks, but the NFC seems to be where it's a team game, a team sport. The AFC seems to be that conference of elite quarterback play, and you have to have one of those really special guys to even make a run at the AFC Championship game. What's the last AFC Championship game that didn't have one that was not some combination of Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, and Jackson?
Give me a second.
I mean, is it Tom Brady? Is it
you exactly?
Is it the Titans?
It would have to be. You are correct. It would be the Titans.
Yeah, so the Titans are the last time that it was not a combination of Mahomes versus Allen, Mahomes versus Burrow, Mahomes versus – actually, it's been Mahomes every year, but it's been Mahomes versus one of those other three guys. So you need one of the elite ones. But the one coach that did it with Ryan Tannehill is Mike Vrabel, is the guy that was able to build that good defense, build that culture. And I think the ceiling on Drake May is something really exciting that we have not seen Mike Vrabel have as a head coach yet. And it makes me excited for him. Did not think I would get to a stage where I'm actually rooting for some success for the New England Patriots, but I think it would be a lot of fun to see Mike Vrabel have success in New England.
Okay, I'll step out on a smaller limb than you. Drake May will be the best quarterback that Vrabel has ever had. And that I only say that
I think that's all guarantee already.
Like Tannehill was playing at an MVP level when they went to the NFC Championship. So will Drake May ever reach that? Whatever it was, 37 and whatever
that's fair.
Interception ratio.
Yeah, Drake May certainly has the highest ceiling, is the most promising quarterback that Vrabel has had. But Ryan Tannehill, as you said, was definitely playing at an unbelievable level. Have we seen anything on Vrabel staff changes, or what his staff is going to look like in New England? Because I'm excited to see how many old friends we see pop up on that staff list.
It will be interesting. I know that Tommy Rees was promoted to offensive coordinator, and that was the guy that was thought of to be.
That was in Cleveland, I thought.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He's no longer on the list, but a list was put out, and now I think they've shifted their position to Ben. Is it Ben Laser? I think that's who I saw earlier. Ben Laser, and then obviously Josh McDaniels. So you get a little retread there.
Well, at least we're not going back to like we're not getting like Todd Downing and Tim Kelly, and I mean Shane Bowen must be up for defensive coordinator, right? Like, can now that I guess Dable didn't get fired, so he can't take that job. But
the coaches that are also on this list, Todd Downing would leave the Jets to go to the Patriots. I think that would be fun.
He'd go be some quarterbacks coach for the Patriots. Yep,
100%. Josh McCown is high on this list. He is currently the Vikings
that would be a
coach.
great one. I actually would love to see Josh McCown as Vrabel's offensive coordinator. That would be a really fun one.
The other one that makes a lot of sense to me is Mike LaFleur, who is the Rams offensive coordinator. So potentially it would be a lateral move, but McVay gets to call the plays with the Rams. So if he came to New England, he would get to wear the big boy pants on offense, and he would get to call the plays.
Arthur Smith, not eligible. He's a play caller. So, you cannot, the NFL rules, just a reminder for everybody out there, You cannot hire an offensive coordinator to be your offensive coordinator unless you are elevating them in role. So, an offensive coordinator that does not call plays, for example, Nick Holtz with the Titans, could take the job to go be Mike Vrabel's offensive coordinator because Vrabel is a defensive head coach. He could have play calling duties. And the same thing goes now. Vrabel has to hire a defensive coordinator that is not a sitting defensive coordinator, because that would not be a promotion for whoever is taking that job.
I almost feel like I have more candidates for Vrabel's offensive coordinator than I do Titans general manager search when we were starting all that up. Like, I think Brian Hartline at Ohio State would make sense. I think
Hartline, I think I've been waiting for him to make the jump for a little bit now. So I would like that one a lot.
And then recently released former Dolphins wide receiver coach Wes Welker.
He'll be on the staff.
Probably as the wide receiver coach. Making the OC jump would be a large jump for him, but it would make a lot of sense to be on the staff.
I'm also curious to see free agency. Like, I know the Patriots probably need wide receivers. I know a really reliable Honda Accord that is Mike Vrabel will probably pay. Like, tell me you can't see Nick Westbrook-Akine signing a 3-year deal.
He was supposed to be a Patriots receiver. Like, doesn't he just look like he played lacrosse in college?
He's a Super Bowl era kid that grew up in like Southie, that went to Boston College, and like that's Nick Westbrook-Akine, 100%. I see that signing happening. I think you could see a lot of those like former Titans connections going back. I mean, Jonnu Smith just had a career year. Do they need a tight end in New England? I mean, Hunter Henry was pretty good, but
he might have signed a 2-year deal. Let me double check that.
Jonnu or Hunter Henry?
Jonnu. I could be wrong though. Definitely could be wrong. He signed a 2-year deal, so he's with Miami for 1 more year.
He'll be division rival, but like maybe this is what Taylor Lewan needs to add 30 pounds. Add 30 pounds. Year 10 for Will Compton is happening after all.
Start this shit up again.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. This is like we see. Ryan says I can see Jeffrey Simmons at the Patriots within the next 2 years. It really is going to be a fun, fascinating thing to sort of see, Titans players from now and in the past that hit free agency at some point, and whether or not Mike Vrabel has an affinity for his former players the same way he did when he was with the Titans. He seemed to be all about connections, all about those buddy hires and networking and people that he trusts. So we'll see what he does in New England. I'm excited to see it. This is going to be another fun development. And Patriots at Titans in 2024 is if there was ever a game to potentially pre-fire a coach,
he's getting fired.
I mean, talk about a must-win game. It does not matter what your record is, what week it is, how much you win by, who's hurt, who's playing, who's whatever. If you're Brian Callahan, you've got Patriots circled in big, bold letters right now as a must-win game if you don't want to get the axe before you get back home.
That's tough. That's like the ghost of girlfriend's past. Like, you're like the third guy to date this girl. It's like, look, if you lose, I promise she's going to break up with you. She did it to all of us, dude. Come join the Losers Club.
Yeah. It's also like it's also like dating somebody in the friend group, right? Like it's like you're in this big friend group. Everybody's so tight. It's been a friend group that's existed forever. And you start the relationship and you lose this one. It's all over. Like, you're ruining everything.
You're going to bring the whole house down.
This is a must-win game. You know what you're getting into here. Patriots coming to town. Early favorite for game of the year for the Titans in 2025. All right, that's all I got for you here on Primetime. I kind of combined the Deion, the Mike Vrabel. That was kind of our gone viral because it was all that was on my Twitter feed today was me seeing Deion Sanders, Mike Vrabel stuff, and I haven't had a chance to talk about it, and I wanted to. Also, shout out to Carson Beck for going to the U to chase his girlfriend. That's the other thing that keeps popping on my feed is
Yeah, I just keep seeing wrong
whichever
I just keep seeing them do this together.
Hold on.
It's like, yeah,
the U.
I just keep seeing that. God, I hate TikTok. God, I hate kids. I'm getting so old. I've been
It's
hanging
gone.
out with Buck too much.
I mean, all right, last prediction. By the time that we do our next prime time, does TikTok still exist?
No, but Facebook will be the new TikTok. They're going to change their whole thing around. Mark Zuckerberg did an interview about it. So
love it. All right, that's all we got. A to Z prime time here tonight. Back with the morning show. Austin Stanley and Easton Freeze in the morning. Keep it locked on A2ZSports.com for more written Titans content as the GM search comes to a close, and we keep directing our attention for who the new GM will be to replace Rand Carthon and hopefully get this Titans franchise back on the right track.